friends. It's 11 a.m., which you know what that means. It's my mind in the working. I sound a lot brighter than last week, and I'm sorry if you listened to that show because I was so tired. I was fasting, I haven't eaten, and I have no coffee, which, by the way, just to assure you, I do have coffee right now. So I'm good. I'm hydrated. I'm caffeinated. I don't know why I thought I was going to make up a word for that. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I actually wanted to talk about for a while, which I feel like that's how I start every show. Yeah, I need to clear my throat for a second. So I wanted to talk about this for a while, but then I've been hesitating because I feel like people might not be interested. But then, you know what? It comes to a point where I have brain farts, so I'm like, you know what? I'll just do this. I'll do it. I'll talk about this. It's a video game related thing, which is why I was a little hesitant. But if you're interested in video games, then you might have heard of a show called My Mind of the Working. You know, it's so popular. You need to like my Facebook page. It's in montcoradio.com. Go to calendars, press my Facebook page, My Mind of the Working. Little promo. Anyways. Yeah, you've probably heard of this game called Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a horror game, which I'm going to be talking about because it's so much more than it is. And if you're rolling your eyes like, oh my God, I've heard this game about this game, it's so cringy. All the kids, like people big fan of it, whatever. I can't speak English. Everyone who's a big fan of that game are 12-year-olds and they're really cringy. No, okay, like genuinely. It's a really good game because there's so much. There's like not only gameplay, but there's also story, which I heard there's gonna be a movie coming out for it. So I'm really, really excited. Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, so by the way, this is probably the most unprepared show I've ever done. Mostly because I kid you not, like I don't have a playlist prepared. I don't have nothing prepared. And by the way, on my live Instagram, I do have. I am live, so that's how I'm just kind of advertising. And my connection just went out, so sorry guys, that connection went out. Okay, so Five Nights at Freddy's basically has so many games that I kind of lost count because the creator, his name is Scott Cawthon. Okay, Scott Cawthon, he used to make games in the past where it wasn't as successful, and so it wasn't as successful, and he was just, I guess. I'm assuming, I forgot, because see, there's so much information about that show that I just kind of forgot. I think he had like a dream about one of the characters, and that's what inspired him to make the game. And this is basically the concept of the game. And before I continue, let me just lower the volume a bit, because, okay. So, basically the whole aspect of I keep saying show, the game is that you're a security guard. We're working at a pizzeria, so it's kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese type of thing. And you're a security guard, and you're stuck in this like little room where you have security cameras with you. And there's like two hallways. There's like two doors at each end of the room, and there's two hallways. What happened is that in the security camera, you can see that there's 3 animatronics. So that's what I'm saying, Chuck E. Cheese. Like 3 animatronics. One of them was the one that Scott Cawthon had a dream about. He's a rabbit. His name is Bonnie. So the animatronics actually are again Bunny, which is Bonnie. A chicken or a chick? There's still debate about that. Her name's Chica, and then there's a bear named Freddy, which is like the main mascot, if that makes sense. And then we have Foxy, which is a fox. He's one of my favorites. Him and Bonnie. Because I don't know. I like Foxy's vibe. Bonnie, I don't know why he's iconic. So if you look it up, by the way, you'll see what the characters look like. And the more games he made, the more animatronics he introduces. It's such a big, wide range. I can't even list them all. So anyways, you're a security guard. And what's your job is that those animatronics will come to life during the night because they're set into free mode, like free roaming zone kind of thing. And so they reactivate at like 12 a.m. So at 12 a.m., what you're supposed to do from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. No, wait. Oh my God. No, I'm so stupid. 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Oh my God, that's such a long game. It was 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. So 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. What happens is that you will, oh my God, I'm getting a brain fart. So through that time period, the animatronics will be coming to you and they're gonna try to kill you or stuff you in one of the animatronics. There's a whole story about like why stuffing and something like that. But yeah, so pretty much your job is to protect yourself. And through both doors on either side of the room, you get to close it and open it. So like there is some good things about it, but the only bad thing is that when you close any doors, when you're using the camera, like security cameras, you're wasting battery. And you have 100% battery in the beginning of the game. And so if you lose all that, there's a high chance you'll lose. And the reason I'm saying is that there's a high chance you'll lose is because, whatchamacallit, because like after the battery goes to 0%, your entire room, I'm telling you, it's so terrifying to experience. Your entire room will go black, the security cameras will turn off, everything will turn off, including the doors will open, which means any animatronic can just come in anytime. So what happens that after that happens, Freddy will just like be standing at the doorway, you'll see him and his eyes are glowing, and a little iconic song, I'm telling you, that song, Scott Cawthon created it himself, so like, you can oh my god, Scott Cawthon is like really good at making music as well. So this little melody starts playing, and then when everything goes black, you either reach 6 a.m. because like coincidentally you finished right before 6 a.m. was gonna happen, or Freddy might jump scare you. And there's a lot of jump scares, by the way, and flashing lights. So if you want to look it up, then yeah. Some YouTubers actually I recommend you to watch. Specifically, if you want to get introduced to it, I would say definitely Markiplier. That's how I got introduced to him, and that's how I knew he was a YouTuber. And also, I think that game was the reason why he blew up as a YouTuber, like a gaming YouTuber. Because his gameplay was actually really good. And he's like funny and all that, so. And so that's how that game kind of blew up from then. The second game, it introduces like different versions of those animatronics. Like there's how do I say it? Like a clown looking Freddy, which is the bear, Bonnie and Chica, but then Foxy, there's like a girl version of him called Mangled, and she's like broken. There's so much animatronics, I'm not even kidding. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the first game, because that's when it introduces everything. So the basics about it is that one guy killed 5 children at a pizzeria, that same pizzeria called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. And so this guy kills like 5 kids by luring them to the back of the stage dressed as one of the animatronics, like without endoskeletons. So it's like he's safe to just put it on without dying, you know. So he dresses as one of them. He's like, hey kids, come to the back, I have cake. And they're like, wee, and then they go to the back and he kills them. So then those kids end up possessing each of the animatronics. And there's a whole, okay, if you're interested in the lore or like the whole story about it and like deep in-depth, in-depth explanations about each game and like the story, go to there's a YouTuber named MatPat, and I think he also blew up from that as well. Well, he already was good, but like, he was already like blown up, but he blew up even more because of that game. His name is MatPat, which is aka Game Theorist. So what he does is that it's not even Five Nights at Freddy's. Like he goes to different games and he just talks about like theories about it. Like, oh, what if, for example, Legend of Zelda, he was like, what if Link was actually dead in this thing? And what if this thing, what if Mario, oh my god, my favorite one, the first theory I ever watched by MatPat was Mario was a psychopath, or not a psychopath, oh my god. He's like, probably like, I don't know what was it called. I think it was around the lines of like psychopath or something like that. And oh my god, like the things he pulls out from actual games and like that actually does prove that right. Like it's so interesting. So I highly recommend you to watch his like videos, even if you're not interested in video games. Like watch the Mario one, because that's the one that I closely like was like, I'm not that, see, I like video games, but I'm not that like aware of that much of the games, if that makes sense. Like I'm not how do I say this? Like I don't know that much games for me to talk about, like go on and on about it. But that's why I chose, my first one was the Mario one, because I was like, who doesn't know Mario? So I just like watched it and it was so good. So yeah, everyone always depends on him when it comes to the storyline. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a movie that's gonna come out, and I'm so excited for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie because it will be talking in depth on the entire story. So we get to see if his theory was correct or not. And Scott Cawthon, like, he's aware that MatPat is doing that theory, and he keeps up with it, and he keeps giving us more hints for him to make more videos about it. It's, oh my god, such an incredible franchise, in my opinion. And I do love the creepiness of it. And the thing about the first game is that some YouTubers are they like it because, you know, it's iconic. It's the first game of the whole franchise. However, the only bad thing is that if it's your first... Oh my god, I thought that was a wasp in the studio. It was actually outside. Oh my god. Those windows are really scrubbed clean. Okay, good job, guys. But yeah, so the thing about the first game is that some YouTubers, of course, like, if it was your first time... By the way, I bought the game and I could not do... Like, I can watch people do it and I'm like, it's not scary. And then once you play it, I start sweating. Like, it's... Oh my god. So anyways, so then when the YouTubers play it, of course, you get scared of it at first. You keep getting jump scared. You don't know when it's gonna happen. But then slowly you'll realize that, oh, if this happens, then a jump scare is gonna happen. If this happens, then a jump scare... Like, you know when the jump scare is gonna come. So that's when the game starts to get not scary. I think it's scary on, like, when you're first trying it out. But once you really get the hang of it, it's not that scary. Yeah, so that's the only bad thing about the game, which I think helps... okay, my friend said that she just took 2 finals. Shout out to you. Okay, that's horrible. She's in high school. She's the one who I brought in the show 2 times. Sorry, off topic. Yeah, so I think that's the only bad thing about it, and I feel like that kind of criticism has helped make Scott Cawthon create even better games. And I think what's even better than as good as the games is some musicians who are YouTubers as well. Well, YouTubers who are musicians, they made songs about Five Nights at Freddy's, which I actually will be putting as like the playlist of today. And if you want, that's pretty much the basics of Five Nights at Freddy's in general that I wanted to explain. Guy killed 5 kids. The 5 kids' souls possessed these animatronics, and I think the reason the story is so big and I can't go in depth because you have to really listen to it and it takes hours of explaining, is because there's characters you get introduced by, for example, every time you if you beat the first game or the second game or whatever, you get a paycheck, of course. And the thing about this pizzeria is that they are known, the game is known to just not pay you that much, even though you're experiencing all that. And so it's funny. And also Scott Cawthon has humor, so he puts some humor in the show, games the more he makes. So there's Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there's 2, which I said there's the clown looking ones, and you get introduced to more animatronics from there. Oh, and also I forgot to mention before I go to the first song, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, there's also a 5th animatronic, but he doesn't have an endoskeleton. Which, by the way, the endoskeleton is not an actual skeleton. It's like a metal skeleton, if that makes sense. It's for animatronics so they can be able to keep them up. They're not slouching. And so this animatronic's called Golden Freddy. So it's like a bear that's golden. He's terrifying, okay? He's so terrifying. And so people are having theories that the guy who killed the 5 kids hid in a Freddy suit, that golden Freddy suit, to kill the kids. I don't know. Which I feel like that's actually false, I think. Because there's a recent game that came out for it, which is VR. If you don't know what VR is, it's virtual reality, where you get to put this headset and you're actually in the game. And people have been begging Scott Cawthon to make a VR game, because when it comes to situations where you're in a room and you're about to get attacked by animatronics, that kind of thing needs a VR kind of experience. It's so terrifying, and I love that game so much. So yeah, anyways, so Golden Freddy basically is a glitch in the game. He doesn't appear unless it's an Easter egg kind of thing. So yeah, so he pretty much, what happens is that he'll appear at one of the cameras, and if you see him on the camera and you put your camera down, he'll appear in your room. And if you put your camera back up, he won't attack you. But if you don't, he'll crash your game and you have to restart the entire night. So it's ugh. Yeah. So that's the basics. I'll be talking more on Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3, and 4. But I just, trust me, I highly recommend you research this game and go to YouTube and just watch the gameplays. They're so fun to watch, so spooky, especially if, okay, this year in Halloween, make that your must. Like, mark your calendars already. Like, it's such a good game. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's of course the same basics. So you're sitting in a room, which is number one, bigger. Not only is it bigger, but also what's it called? There's a lot more. Like the whole, what's it called? Like, a way to survive is so different from the first game. And how it happens is that, oh my god, for a second, I don't know why I thought that wasn't on. Like, my mic wasn't on and you're just listening to music. Yeah, so basically the second game, the point, like, the whole, like, there's a word and I can't think of it right now, but basically how you can survive is that there's not only 2 doors on the end of the room, this time there's vents, like air vents, and so the animatronic will crawl through it and, like, boop, he'll just be right there. So there's that, and then there's a hallway in the middle of your room, so you get to, like, open the light. By the way, in both games, or all the games, there's light, so, like, you get to, like, turn on the light and see if the animatronic's there, and if you turn off the light, you can't see anything. Like, you have to use your light, which also uses battery, which, by the way, in the second game, the battery doesn't matter, so you get to use as much flashlight as you want, nothing will be affected. So, how you can be able to survive is that whenever an animatronic enters your room or you can see him on the vent, you wear a Freddy mask. So, like, you get to wear it. It's, oh my god. It's terrifying because, like, when you wear it, you'll see the animatronic in your room, like, staring at you, and then he just disappears and you just take it off. So, there's no doors. Like, no doors whatsoever. So that's how you survive. And that's what made people freak out when they found out, like, the game released and they're like, where is the doors? And in this one as well, like, based on the paycheck you get at the end of the game, the name of, like, the person you're playing as is different than the first game. So the first game is Mike, and then the second name is Jeremy. So, yeah. And by the way, if you're tuning in right now, number one, hi. Number two, I'm talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, so it's a game that's really widespread. And I'm just talking about the games, you know? Just chilling. Yeah, so the second game, I feel like it's okay. I think the jump scares are pretty scary because, like, they jump at you, while the first game, like, they just appear at your screen. So it's like the idea of an animatronic going up to you, like, that's terrifying. And also, I think the thing about Chica, the chicken, the clown version of her, she doesn't have her animatronic eyes, so it's just black, and there's, like, a white dot in the middle. Oh my god, it's terrifying. And also, people are sexualizing her, basically. I'm not gonna go in depth in it, but I'll tell you right now, don't look it up. Because, you know, every time there's a female character, they always have to sexualize everything. It's horrible. Yeah, so the second game, I think, there is a whole... The thing is that... Okay, I actually never talked about this, which is actually very important when it comes to the storyline. The first game and second game and the third game, I know, and then that's it. I'm assuming there's always the same thing that's repetitive in all 3 games, which is a phone. Now, in the phone, in the first night, by the way, you have to, oh my god, I'm so stupid, I never explained this. So, how the game works is that you have to complete 5 nights of, like, surviving, by the way. So, of course, each night, the animatronics get more aggressive and it gets a little harder and stuff like that. So, each game has a phone, and in that phone, each night, there's a guy speaking on the phone. So, like, it rings, and he starts off with the iconic, hello, 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 and he always says the same thing every single time. And, yeah, so people usually get annoyed by him, but, like, once you listen to the tapes, like, or what he's saying, sometimes he helps you, like, he gives you tips on how to survive, and there's... on the first game, at least, the reason how people knew that there was a story behind the game is because there's, like, sometimes on the phone call, like, the phone guy, his name is Phone Guy, by the way, because we don't know his name. Like, for example, I think on the fourth night of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, he does end up saying things like, oh, hi, I can't talk for that long, you know, I'm in a situation right now. And while he's talking, you hear knocks on the door. And then all of a sudden you hear, like, music and, like, the animatronic, like kind of a moaning kind of thing. And then the phone guy's like, oh no. And then just the line crashes. So it's very interesting. Like, it's so spooky. And it gives you, like, oh my god, it's so good. And then the second game, he does the same thing, but like it's not as spooky, I guess. He doesn't creep you out as much. But he does say things like, oh, you know, Foxy, he's my favorite, but like, you know, I don't like this animatronic. Like he just, I don't know, it's like a conversation, but some people get annoyed by him because they're like, okay, I get it, stop talking to me kind of thing. Yeah, so in the second game, I'm trying to think. I need to remember because I haven't watched those in a while. What I feel like I'm missing. Oh, yes. Okay, so in the second game, there's another thing that also like distracts you, which I know it sounds easy that you just put a mask on, take it off, bam, you're done. No, it's not. Because, for example, Foxy in the game, he's not clownified, if that makes sense. He stole the same one from the first game. So how you get rid of him is that if you see him on the hallway, which is the only time you'll see him, you have to flash your light, and that's how you get rid of him. And if you wear a mask, he'll like scare you. So you can't always wear a mask, number one. Number two, there's actually another option you have to do, and if you don't, you'll get jump scared. There's a marionette, which is so scary. Like I'm telling you, he looks like the marionette looks like from Spirited Away, that black ghost. I haven't watched that movie in a while, but yeah, that's what he looks like, or she looks like. I think it's a she, the marionette. Yeah, so what happens is that you have to play a music box. So from the security camera, you have to press a button that activates the music box. And so the more you press it, like you have to, like there's like a little meter thing that like, if it's all the way up, which means you're good, but it'll slowly decrease. And if it's all the way down, the marionette will jump scare you. So you have to keep it up, like. So that's why it's kind of distracting you from doing your gameplay, which makes the game a lot more multitasking. Which I feel like that's the biggest like basis of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is multitasking. Because oh my god, you're gonna have to do a lot to be able to. Because oh my god, of course I didn't play it, but oh my god, it's so scary because like it makes you panic. But again, you get the hang of it eventually. But I would say it's not, I don't know. I don't know if it's as scary as the first game. I don't know. Yeah, so that's Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I'm sorry if this is really complicated, but like, you'll understand it once you like watch videos. Like, I genuinely feel like more people should like, you know, kind of get into it because it's a good movie that's gonna come out. I'm so excited because they're gonna build actual animatronics, and I'm like, oh my god. And I've never watched a horror movie in my life, so like, it's a first, so. Let me just drink my coffee real quick. Okay. I'm sorry if you hear that gulp. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I need to just do the ASMR. I'm waiting for a perfect moment to do that. Okay. So that's Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2, and that's like the basics. So, but the story, I'm not gonna get into it. Like, it's so, oh my god. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, one of the animatronics is also a little kid-looking one. He's the most human-like one, if that makes sense. And his name is Balloon Boy. He's adorable, but he's a little rascal. I'm not even kidding. Let's see. So that's Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Probably, in my opinion, the worst game out of all of them. Because the gameplay, so easy. Like, really easy. Number 2, there's only one animatronic that will attack you. There's no 4 or 5 or 6. No, just 1. And how you get rid of him, of course, there's no doors. But what happens is that you have a security camera, and like you'll see him like standing in one room, and one button that you have is like it activates a sound. And as I mentioned in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, there's a little boy like as an animatronic that looks human-like. He has a certain laugh that goes like, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. It's like, or something like that. So if you click it at a certain room of the camera that's away from you, because that's what you're supposed to do, because they show you where you are in the security camera and where he is, and if he's like close to you, you have to go choose the furthest like room, and I guess camera, like open security camera that's in a room that's far from you, and you have to press the voice. So then the animatronic named Springtrap, his name is Springtrap. He looks like a bunny, a golden bunny that looks like really torn and stuff. He looks broken and stuff like that. Yeah, so you play the voice on the furthest room from you, and then he'll be like, oh, there's a person there, so they go all the way to that room. And that's basically it. You have to just keep activating the sound far away from him. Now, some of the things, of course, it's not that easy, to like protect, like things that will distract you from winning is, number 1, there's like random ghosts, if that makes sense. Like little ghosts that will like jump scare you and will like, okay, actually, before I explain that, let me just explain one of the things that I mainly distracts you is there's a little system that will be on your left side while you're playing. Hi, Edith. Okay, sorry. I'm just saying hi to people in live. Yeah, so what happens is that on your left, there'll be like a little panel that has ventilation. Oh my God, I need to remember this. Ventilation, audio, and video. So sometimes while you're playing, the security camera will just turn off. It'd be like audio error. Oh no, video error. So you have to go back to the system, click on video error, and it'll fix it. So you have to, so sometimes the audio, video, or ventilation, like you breathing, will get broken, will break basically. So you basically have to fix it, and that takes a while. And of course, when you're all dependent on that security camera and the audio, if one of them breaks, there's a high chance you'll lose. So that's basically it. And sometimes, of course, the more nights happens, the more it gets broken, and it's a lot. And not only that, I feel like another thing about the game is that there's actually another map. So there's a map of the security cameras, and there's a map of ventilation. So sometimes Springtrap will come in the ventilations, and you have to shut it. It's a lot of gameplay, but it's so easy to just get him away from you. And of course, if he's in your room, then that's it, you lost. There's that. And I think a lot of people didn't like it because of how easy it is. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, there's the ghosts, and sometimes the ghosts, you can avoid them. There's a way for you to avoid them, but if you, if you don't avoid them, they will break one of your ventilation, audio, or video, thing, and you have to fix it again. It's a whole thing. So yeah, by the way, I'm not mentioning also, because there's a lot into these games. Each game kind of has a mini game, if that makes sense, and that also this. I think the purpose of that is to talk about the storyline of the game in general. So they don't do anything, if that might make sense. But yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I think, is by far, in my opinion, it's probably one of the scariest games that has to do with you being in a room and doing things, because of course, again, as I said, Scott Cawthon ups his game every game and stuff. After Five Nights at Freddy's 4, he actually does more things that are you're not stuck in a room, you're just moving from one room to another. So that's what things get really interesting and scary. The reason I'm saying Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is very, very terrifying. I can't even watch a gameplay of it. I have to skip a lot, and it's, oh my God, it's horrible. So one common theme that I realized that I actually really appreciate about Scott Cawthon as a creator is that he basically makes each game have a certain thing that you have to depend on, if that makes sense. Sorry, I just burped. The first game I think has to do more with, I actually don't know. Wait, let me think. I think, no, I don't know. Oh my God, I'm already forgetting. I think it has more to do with sight, if that makes sense. Sight. And then when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, what would it have to do with? Sight, and then, oh my God. Okay, basically my point is, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, for example, has to do with creating. Okay, I don't know where I'm going with this. I remember at some point I thought of it in the past, and it actually made sense to me, but now I can't think of it. I completely forgot. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it has a lot to do with listening, so much to do with listening, because what happens is that you actually it takes place not in a pizzeria this time. All three of them, I think actually Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the one with the Springtrap and you're trying to lure him away from your room, that is happening not in a pizzeria. It's kind of a horror attraction kind of thing, a haunted house. But this time in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you're in a room, a kid's room. And of course, we all know kids stuff scares us, okay? Seriously, when it comes to a horror game, being in a room, just terrifying. And in the room, you're literally on your, in front of your bed, you're playing a little kid. And of course, throughout the game, also they do of course, those little mini games that explains the story of this kid. And apparently, this kid is very sad, and he has an abusive brother, and his brother always he makes fun of him, but because apparently the kid has dreams about these scary monsters, which is the animatronics. And the reason he has like, okay, I do actually know the story. So let me just lower. I feel like it's getting louder. So the kid, let's say, what should we name him? I don't know. What could we name? I know he has a name. I think it's Jeremy. I think it was Jeremy who you play at Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as a kid. I think. Oh my god, I'm so bad at this lore. Okay, you know what? Let's just call him. I can't call him Charlie. Okay, let's call him Charlie. Okay, it's not Charlie, by the way. So Charlie, basically, I'm assuming he went to a birthday party at Five Nights at Freddy's, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and he got scared of the animatronics. That his older brother, would make fun of him for that all the time. Sometimes he'd wear like a mask of one of the animatronics and be like, boo, and he's like, ah, kind of thing. And he's always crying, which is so sad. Oh my god. So you play as Charlie, and what happens is that you're in a room, and you have to go. So instead of doors, like the metallic doors, if that makes sense, you have like your bedroom doors. So on the left side and the right side, and you have a closet you have to open as well, which is terrifying. So the closet is where Foxy actually stays. And the thing is that this entire time, you get the jump scares, the animatronics you're trying to like escape from, they're all illusions. Because when you see them, they don't look like the actual animatronics from the game. And it's because they look like the nightmare version, if that makes sense. Like a scarier version, which makes this game so much more scarier. Like, I swear, they give him, like, extra set of teeth and, like... Oh, my God, it's so scary. Oh, my God, I hate this. Yeah, so what you have to do is that, for example, if you go to the left side of your room, the left door, you have to listen if you hear a breath, like a kind of thing. And it's so subtle, so you have to, like, actually pump up your volume on your headphones to like a really high number so you can hear. And the reason it's scary is because when you do that and you get jump scared, your ears are just gonna be dying. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding, like seriously. So and the thing is that when you open the door, it's darkness and you can turn on your flashlight, but if there's an animatronic there and you didn't listen for a breath and you turn on your flashlight, you get jump scared. And so when you open the door and like you're listening, if you hear a breath, you have to shut the door. And you have to time it perfectly. So like after you shut the door, you have to wait for a bit and then you open it and you turn on your flashlight to make sure he's gone. So like, yeah, and by the way, when I say he, I meant like there's Nightmare Bonnie, the bunny, and then Nightmare Chica, the chicken, and Nightmare Freddy, but that's like towards like the more nights, like the later nights. So like not like that early on. The Freddy one's just, oh my god. No, I think it's Golden Freddy. Yeah, it's Golden Freddy. Oh my god, that one's probably I swear, I don't like it. I just, oh my god, I like that game so much because of how scary it is, but like, oh my god, it's terrifying. Yeah, like you need to see what it looks like. And by the way, the jump scare, like sound, the voice of the jump scare, like when they jump scare you and they make this like roar, each game it's different. The fourth one's just, oh my god, it's horrible. Yeah, so your job is basically to close the door whenever you hear a sound. Sometimes the sounds are so subtle that you didn't hear it, and when you turn on the flashlight, like, they jump scare you. It's horrifying. So that's why whenever you watch any gameplay of it, most likely the gamer's not going to talk the entire time because they're trying to listen. So, that's the basics of it. And going back to the story, so Charlie basically went to a birthday party at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and got scared of it, that, like, sometimes... like the mini games that you play, it's like he's walking around the rooms, and like his brother would jump scare him, like, and he would like sit and he's crying, and like sometimes he gets locked in his room because he keeps going out. I don't know, it's something around those lines. And then the more nights you play, there's one mini game that you play where you're at the Freddy Fazbear Pizza, like pizzeria, and what's it called? You play as him and he's like walking, and then you bump into your brother and his friends, and they're like, oh, hey, do you want to take a closer look at the animatronic? And like they take you and they lock you in a closet filled with like pieces and like heads of the animatronics. It's, oh my god, it's so sad. And like the kids like screaming and crying in there. It's sad. So there's that. And then what pretty much sparked a lot of controversy about that. It's not a bad controversy. It's just like, whoa, it has to do with like the storyline kind of thing. Is when the brother and like his friends pick his brother up, they take him to the Golden Freddy animatronic who's like singing on stage. What's it called? Then they put their brother's head in the animatronic's mouth. and they won't expect like the animatronic, like, of course, to bite his head, which, spoiler alert, in the game, like, it's a pixelated game, by the way, like that, like, mini games are pixelated, so it's not like it's real life, it's not violent or graphic, but like it shows that the boys are like laughing, like ha ha ha, like he's the Golden Freddy's like biting his head, ha ha ha. Then like it'll make a sound effect in a way that like it'll show the Freddy like biting on the kid's head, which again doesn't look gruesome. It just looks like he just bit his head, and all the boys will start like they stop laughing because literally his brother put like basically I'm pretty sure the brother felt so bad because he pretty much killed his brother. Like the kid literally got bit by that Freddy. No, actually, wait, hold on. Based on the gameplay, I don't think he dies. I think he gets into a coma, which gives him those illusions. So basically, whatever you play in the minigame, that happened before your gameplay. So I think some hints about that is that like when you're playing the game, you can turn back and look at your bed, and there's pills sometimes on the bed, so it's like, you know, concussion pills, I guess. So there's a whole story about that. Like, I guess him being bit by the Golden Freddy caused him to stay in his room the entire time and like having those nightmares because he's scared of the animatronics. So it's that kind of thing. So that's Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Very different. Super different. Like different. Completely. So yeah. But it's so terrifying. And again, highly suggest you watch one of the gameplays. It's so good. So good. In my first show I ever did in here, by the way, which was when I mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's, which is why I was like, you know, let me do it here. I mentioned there's a band called Living Tombstones, which also made a living, like their career just bursted from making songs about Five Nights at Freddy's. And so, whatchamacallit, one of the songs they made was for Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Whatchamacallit, oh my god, this commercial's, it's called I Got No Time. So, and it's like one of those songs that like they speak really quickly, so you might not understand, but I know the lyrics, so I'm good with it. So yeah, you have to listen to it a bunch of times, and I had to read the lyrics to know what they're saying. So yeah, it's a good song though, good song. So, the last game I was going to explain, which by the way isn't the last game of the franchise, there's still so much more, including the one that was recently released of the VR, which by the way, VR of Five Nights at Freddy's, oh my god, okay. So the VR version of, what's it called? Oh my god, my friends are, oh wait, snap. I'm so stupid. My friends are texting me and I'm like, I didn't turn off the thing. Okay, so anyway. Thank God I didn't play it during this song. Yeah. So, oh my god, I got a brain fart. Yeah. So, imagine having VR of of the Five Nights at Freddy's 4. So being in that room and listening and peeking your head. Oh my god. And I think the good thing about the VR is that you get to play it in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, so like you're in the little room, the first game, because you get to actually peek your head outside of the door to see if they're in the hallway. Oh my god. And oh my god, the best part is that they actually made the animatronics move. So like, it's so much more realistic. It's like, cause like in the first game, without VR, the original, you don't see them actually move. They just teleport from one place to another. But in the VR, you see them move. Oh my god, it's great. Yeah, so the last game I was going to talk about is actually the next game after Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is actually not Five Nights at Freddy's 5. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. And the reason is because after the failed Five Nights at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, they opened another one, which actually has completely different animatronics. Like, nothing has to do with them. Well, actually, kind of. So basically, it's like a pink and white version of Freddy, pink and white version of Foxy, and then another animatronic that's new. Her name is Ballora. She looks like a ballerina. And then Baby, which looks like a girl with two pigtails, and she's like a redhead kind of thing. And again, they're all animatronics. They're all like machinery kind of thing. Yeah. So from that, what you have to do is that you have to complete like different types of like games like throughout. So basically you're a technician called Mike, and like I feel like that game is what sparked some more humor. Like Scott put so much humor in that game that makes you like laugh, which actually some people complain that it kind of ruins the whole like vibe, the scary vibe of it, which honestly I don't mind. Like, I don't mind humor. It's pretty good. So you're a technician. What happens is that you start off at an elevator, then you go to this certain room that you always go to the first thing you walk in. Yeah, so what happens is that I think what's the first game? So the first one, you enter a vent, and then like, okay, so actually I missed out the whole entire point of it. So what happens is that when you first go in that room, the first thing, there's like an audio that plays automatically in that building that talks to you and walks you through what you have to do as a technician. So he tells you, open the light and see the Ballora on the left side, because they're in a room and there's a window, so you get to see the room that Ballora belongs to. So you could see her from far away. He's like, oh, she's not doing anything. Shock her. So you have to shock the animatronics. And you know what that happens? It makes them mad at you, and then that's what makes them attack you. So that's what makes people kind of hesitate when they do that. So you shock the animatronic, and I've seen mixed reactions. I've seen like when they say, "Oh, shock the animatronic," they're like, "Yes, finally I get to attack them." Like they always attack me, I'm gonna attack them. So that happens, and then they say, "Now click the light to see Foxy on the right side." You click the right side, and they're like, "Okay, shock him," and you shock her, and then they're like, "Cool. Now go to the vent in the middle," because there's a vent in the middle. There's vents on 3 sides, by the way. There's no doors. So you go to the middle vent, and then you go to this room where you see Baby. And Baby basically is like, oh, she's not there. Shock her. And you keep shocking her, and she doesn't do anything. And then they're like, okay, I guess we're going to restart the entire system because she's not here. Well, actually, not in the first game, it doesn't happen. No, not on the first night. The first night, they're like, okay, she's not participating. You just go home. So you go home and whatever. But then the next night, night 2, is when you go to that same room and you shock her, and they're like, okay, it's not working. I guess we're going to restart the entire building like system. So you're pretty much like the entire building just shuts off its electricity, which means all the vents are opening, everything is opening, and you're like so unsafe. And then the game like takes you in a path that's like so different from other games, because Baby starts talking to you. She's like, hi, can you hear me? Oh, and then she starts communicating with you, and she's like, hey, I can protect you. Hide in this little room, this little area, because they're gonna find you. So you hide in there, and then you have to survive by like, oh my god, it's so different from other games. I can't explain it. Like, there's so many different games that you have to do. Like, for example, you have to protect yourself from these like miniature babies, and like they're gonna try to attack you, and like you have to like shut the door. There's that, and there's also you have to walk across an entire dark room where Ballora, the ballerina, belongs to. So like you have to walk in, and like you have to be. It's like silence, and like it's, oh my god. I think probably Sister Location is probably one of my favorite games of all time, like from the whole franchise. Five Nights at Freddy's, Sister Location, and VR, 2 of my favorites. So if you want to learn like if you want me to tell you which gameplay I should recommend to watch, Sister Location, absolutely. And it took such a big turn when it came to like what like the types of games that Five Nights at Freddy's is. So yeah, I think that's the end of my show. That's basically all Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm sorry if I rambled so much, but I just love this game so much. So I highly recommend you watch gameplay of it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for it. Let me just check for something. Oh, cool. 5 people are listening. Hi. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you for listening. Again, listen to MoncoRadio.com, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Tuesday. I come on, I just talk. I can bring guests sometimes. Thank you for watching. And again, just keep your closet doors open so you make sure there's no animatronic in there. Don't go to Chuck E. Cheese because that ish is terrifying, okay? I can't go to Chuck E. Cheese anymore because I get so scared of the animatronics. Like, I swear, I don't trust animatronics in general. They're terrifying. So yeah, I guess just keep your doors open, I guess. Let me just shut that up. Okay, you know what? Just keep your eyes open, because, yeah. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah. Just have a good day. See you guys next week.